Hi students, I am Praveen Sebastian Paul. In this lecture, we are discussing the white box testing. A white box testing is also known as clear box testing, open box testing, glass box testing, transparent box testing, code-based testing, or structural testing. So this white box testing is a software testing method in which the internal structure, design and implementation of the item being tested is known to the tester. The tester chooses input to exercise path through the code and determines the appropriate output. Programming know-how and implementation knowledge is essential for this type of testing. White box testing is testing beyond the user interface and into the nitty-gritty of a system. This method is named so because the software program in the eye of a tester is like a white transparent box inside which one clearly sees. In white box testing, an internal perspective of the system as well as programming skills are used to design test cases. The tester chooses input to exercise path through the code and determine the expected outputs. It can test path within a unit, path between unit during integration, and between subsystems during a system level testing. Though this method of test design can uncover many errors or problems, it has the potential to miss unimplemented part of the specification or missing requirements. White box test design techniques includes the following code coverage criteria. They are control flow testing, data flow testing, branch testing, statement coverage, decision coverage, modified condition or decision coverage, prime path testing, and path testing. The different levels of white box testing includes unit testing, integration testing, as well as regression testing. When we come to the unit testing, white box testing is done during the unit testing to ensure that the code is working in intended before integration happens with previously tested code. White box testing during unit testing potentially catches many defects early on and aids in addressing defects that happen later on after the code is integrated with the rest of the application and therefore reduces the impacts of error later in development. When we come to the integration testing, white box testing at this level is written to test the interaction of interfaces with each other. The unit level testing made sure that each code was tested and working accordingly in an isolated environment, and integration examines the correctness of the behavior in an open environment through the use of white box testing for any interaction of interface that are known to the programmer. In the third type, that is the regression testing, the white box testing during regression testing is the use of recycled white box test cases at the unit and integration testing levels. The different basic procedures in white box testing are as follows. The white box testing's basic procedure requires the tester to have an in-depth knowledge of the source code being tested. The programmer must have a deep understanding in the application to know what kind of test cases to create so that every visible path is exercised for testing. Once the source code is understood, then the source code can be analyzed for test cases to be created. The following are the three basic steps that white box testing takes in order to create test cases. The first one is input involves different type of requirements, functional specifications, detailed designing and documents, proper source code and security specifications. This is the preparation stage of white box testing to lay out all of the basic informations. In the second step, processing involves performing the risk analysis to guide whole testing process, proper test plan, execute test cases and communicate results. This is the phase of building test case to make sure they thoroughly test the application. The given result are recorded accordingly. In the third one, the output involves preparing final report that encompasses all of the above preparation and the results. When we come to the advantages of white box testing, the white box testing is one of the two biggest testing methods used today. It has several major advantages like side effects of having the knowledge of the source code is beneficial to thorough testing. Optimization of code becomes easy as inconspicuous bottlenecks are exposed. Gives the programmer introspection because developers carefully describes any new implementation. Provides traceability of test from the source, thereby allowing future changes to the source to be easily captured in the newly added or modified test. Easy to automate, and finally provides clear engineering based rules for when to stop testing. When we come to the disadvantages of white box testing, although white box testing has great advantages, it is not perfect and contains some disadvantages. Some of them are: the white box testing brings complexity to testing because the tester must have knowledge of the program, or the test team need to have at least one very good programmer who can understand the program at the code level. White box testing requires a programmer with a high level of knowledge due to complexity of the level of testing that needs to be done. Secondly, on some occasions it is not realistic to be able to test every single existing condition of the application, and some conditions will be untested. Thirdly, the test focuses on the software as it exists, and missing functionality may not be discovered. The fourth disadvantage is the resulting test can be fragile because they are tightly coupled to the specific implementation of the things being tested. The code under test could be rewritten to implement the same functionality in a different way that invalidates the assumptions baked into the test. This could result in the test that fail unnecessarily, or in the worst case, tests that now give false positive and mask error in the code. So these are the disadvantages of white box testing. So dear students, in this lecture we had discussed the white box testing. The other names of white box testing are clear box testing, open box testing, glass box testing, transparent box testing, code based testing, or structural testing. A white box testing is simply a software testing method in which the internal structure, design, and implementation of the item being tested is known to the tester. This method is named so because the software program in the eye of a tester is like a white or transparent box in which we can see the inside in a clear manner. So my dear student, hope you had understood this topic. Dear students, kindly go through these assignment questions. The question number 1 is define white box testing. The second question is what are the code coverage criteria in white box testing. Thirdly, write about the levels in white box testing. And fourth one is write about the advantages and disadvantages in white box testing. So dear students, in the upcoming lecture we will discuss the static testing mechanism in software testing. So dear students, see you soon. Until then, goodbye, thank you, and all the best.